Welcome back to the football rundown, everyone. Obviously, Stockport County were not able to get the 3 points I think we were hoping to get. That, in my opinion, I think we needed to get from the game at the Peninsula. Obviously, held 2-2, and Salford City were I was going to say probably the better side in the first half. I don't think there's any doubt about it. Were the better side in the first half. Much to my surprise, really, I said that I thought Stockport County would win the game 2-0. We find ourselves 2-0 down at half time through a really, really bad way to start the game. Obviously, Luke Garbutt getting Salford 1-0 up after a fantastic strike, to be fair to him, within the first 10 minutes. I personally thought he could have been closed down a little bit better by Callum Camps, but that's just my opinion. Ultimately, it was a really good finish, and I don't think Hinchcliffe could have done much about it, and he was stood still. There's no point moving for that, because if he's not closed down, which he wasn't, and to be fair, you can make an argument to say even if he'd been closed down a little bit better, it was always going to travel past him and landing that top corner, which he did. So County go 1-0 down early on, which is, as I say, completely against the script, given the form that Salford are in, and given the fact that County are looking to try and get points on the board to get back into top spot. Obviously, we knew we had 2 games in hand, and this game was one of them 2 games in hand. I felt we had to win the game, and I think that to only come away with a point, it's not over, because if we still win on second game in hand, we'll still go top of the table. It just feels like we needed to have a few more points over Mansfield, just for that little bit of cushion between the two sides. But obviously that won't happen. If County can win on Monday against Crawley, then obviously Mansfield will play on Saturday, so it means that they'll have played a game, so we're not. It's not completely 2 games in hand on Monday. But if we can win, our game in hand, whatever that will be now, then obviously we'll be top of the table again. But I just felt we had to win the game today, and I felt that draw was a very disappointing result, really, from a county point of view. But having said that, given how bad we were in the first half, to come away with a point in the end, probably not the worst of results. It's not, it's not the end. It's not over, but it certainly hasn't helped us. And I think that we've only got ourselves to sort of blame, really, that we didn't win the game because of how badly we started the game. Look, I'm going to be honest. I thought the referee was abysmal, particularly first half. I think he got a bit better second half, but first half wasn't great. And their second goal, for example, I think the free kick that they got, I think it probably could have gone our way, to be honest. And I think the goal was actually offside as well. But look, the first goal was completely deserved on their part, and County weren't good enough in the first half to say that they didn't deserve to be 1-0 up or 2-0 up at half time. Salford just wouldn't be the case. But second half, I felt we really bounced back into the game, and to be honest, I thought we were going to get the winner. I think that the fact we got the 2 goals and the first 20-25 minutes to second half, I really thought we were growing into that game, and I did think that we'd make it 3-2, but unfortunately we weren't able to get a goal, and it surprised me a little bit, because I thought Salford, maybe about 10 or 15 minutes to go, would probably look to try and hold on to the point. They brought on Mariappa. It looked like they were showing up the defence, but they were not really sitting back massively. They were still going for it a little bit, which surprised me, and ultimately, though, County just couldn't get that third goal that I think would have given us a massive boost in title race, and we come away with a point, which, as I say, it's not the end of the world, but it could have been better. So if we just have a quick look at the league table now as well, Mansfield, 37 games played, obviously 69 points. County into second now with obviously 36 games played on 67, so we're 2 points off them. So as I say, it's not the end of the world, because if we win that game in hand, we can still go ahead of them. But I just feel like we're going to need a few more points over them, and I think obviously just being a point ahead of them isn't as good as maybe being 2 or 3 points ahead of them. So disappointed that we couldn't win the game, given how far down the table Salford are as well. But look, I said it in the preview, and I said that Salford are not in a great position this season. They're not in a great season, but they're not going to make it easy for us. They're not going to want us to come away from that game with 3 points on the board, given the fact that it's pretty much a local derby for them. And given how bad the season has been for them, they don't want us to turn up and take 3 points, especially given the fact that we beat them in the semi-final playoffs last season. So we knew it was going to be tough, and it was probably tougher than I expected it to be, because I thought we'd win the game. And I think that was it Vassell for them at the back? I thought he was a bit of a handful for us, a bit of a nightmare. and obviously Smith made himself a bit of a nuisance as well. I think both could have received bookings in the game, to be honest. I think that both of them were quite overly aggressive, but it is what it is, and County come away with a point which, as I say, it's not the worst, but it could have been a lot better. And as I say, I think getting 3 points against Crawley on Monday will be really important now, especially the fact that we haven't managed to take 3 points from the game today, which I thought we would. So be interesting to see what Challoner thinks of the game afterwards. Be interesting to hear what his opinion, his take on things. But I thought that Salford were very, very aggressive in the game. I think it kind of forced us to be aggressive in the game as well. But also, I just wanted to talk about the subs we made at half time as well, because I thought that was interesting. We brought Todd Kane on, who I argued probably could have started the game. I think most people would have, said that maybe Case wasn't going to be up to it, and maybe if they had the option of starting Todd Kane from the get-go, that might have been a better idea, because when he came on and immediately he looked far better than Case. So it'd be interesting to see what happens with Todd Kane going forward, whether or not he gets into the starting 11 on Monday. But he looked miles ahead of Kane. Kane looked miles ahead of Case very early on. I mean, it just looks like he had a purpose to his play. Everything he was doing, you could see what he was trying to do. Whereas with Case, it's been a little bit unsure at times. We've got a comment just coming as well. That was rubbish. You can't win only playing half a game. Where was this City loanee? Well, on the bench. Yeah, wasn't even on the bench, was he? So much to the surprise. Rico Richards came on though, and he didn't look terrible. He certainly got involved in the game, but the positions he was getting himself in, I think a lot of the time, I think there was one moment where there was a really good opportunity. It was almost a free header for him, and you're thinking if that's Wootton or if that's Madden, we'd probably get a goal from that. So he got himself in good spaces, but he just wasn't able to capitalise on it enough. And I suppose the one thing I would give him credit for is his positioning seemed decent, and he was getting himself into positions. And he just looks a little bit raw. He just looks a bit, lacking of confidence. And I think that, I genuinely think if he was a bit more confident, he'd probably go ahead and probably get a few goals and a few assists, because he does seem to have some form of quality. He just doesn't seem to have the confidence to really go for it. I think that's the thing with Rico Richards. And it's disappointing because I do think there could be a player in there, having seen little bits of it in the game today. But as I say, I think that header that he had a really good chance of, he just didn't get his head behind it enough. And as I say, I think if that was Madden, I think we score from it. So it's disappointing, but I think it goes to show that we don't really have a lot of quality on the bench. But, as you're saying there, where was Knight? Why wasn't he on the bench? Maybe he could have had more of an impact. Because when you're looking at the bench, we didn't really have a lot of attacking options. Obviously, we started the game with our three attackers playing Madden in behind, obviously, behind Alafi and Wootton. So we'd used all our three options from the get-go. So we couldn't look to the bench for any attacking options, really. Obviously, Powell was out injured. Bailey started the game and he was on the bench. Has been on the bench at times. So it's disappointing, really, to see that there wasn't really much options off the bench for Challoner to change things up, going forward. And I think that's why he brought on Richards and obviously Kane when he did. And I said at half time, actually, Kane's coming on. I think we could do Harry Kane coming on, to be honest, because we weren't looking like scoring goals. And then suddenly, second half kicks into action and we've got 2 goals within the first 15, 20 minutes. So it's hard to judge, really. How can County be so poor in the first half and then turn out in the second half, just like a switch? I don't know what happened, but as I say, I think that Salford were very, very aggressive. They certainly made themselves a nuisance for the referee throughout the game. As I say, I think Vassell and Matt Smith both were a handful, and I think their manager Carl Robinson was a handful as well for the ref to manage. Constantly running past his technical area, constantly shouting, and to expect that from Carl Robinson. I think passionate has been a light way of describing how he is as a manager, but I think that the referee probably needs to keep him in check a bit more, because I can't remember a time in the game when Challoner was up on the touchline being told to calm down, or feeling like I needed time to calm down. So it's interesting, really, but obviously, as I say, I think in the end probably did deserve the draw, because I don't think we did quite enough to win, and given how poor we were in the first half, we can't really argue that we didn't take all 3 points. Another comment has come in as well. A tale of two halves, to be honest. It just doesn't work with Tanto, Madden and Wootton. Look, I agree with that. I think I know that person is as well. But as I say, I think I like playing Madden deeper. I think he's good behind the striker, but I think that when you're using Tanto and Wootton and Madden from the start, especially with the lack of options off the bench at the moment, you're using all your free options straight away, which I think is a massive problem for the manager, because then, you turn it down at half time, you're looking to make changes, and who comes on? He's, bringing on Rico Richards, whilst I thought he did okay, it's a desperate attempt to try and just make a change for the sake of making a change. And I think that as soon as we can get someone like Lou Barry back, or Ben Knight, wherever he was tonight, I think we'll start to look a lot better. But we said it. We said it on Saturday. We said it. Me and Adam said it in the vlog actually at the end. The way we played against Newport, yes, we got the win, but we said we'd have to play a lot better than that against Salford tonight if we're going to win the game. And I don't think we did. I think we were good for maybe 20 minutes, half an hour that game, and we weren't good enough for large spells of it. Another comment as well. Those two subs make a difference, but to me, the returning players, people making their presence, felt like before. Sorry, I'm struggling to read it. It's too small, the text there. I might have to sort that out going forward. Monday's a must-win. No, I agree with that. I think he's basically saying the players that are coming back from injury are more important than the players that have come in on loan. And yeah, I think the players coming back from injury, obviously we know that Lou Barry and Ackle Wright are probably coming back, maybe early April, hopefully end of March. And obviously Callum Camps came off, looks like he may possibly have a knock again. Obviously Bristow came off as well, he was struggling. So there's potentially 2 new injuries there as well, which is never a good thing. I mean, we've been so injury plagued this season, and it's typical that we'd have another 2 possible injuries tonight as well. And obviously it's just not ideal. Obviously we're trying to get players back, and then you're losing players as well. But yeah, I think when we do have them players back from injury, I think that could be a massive part for the end of the season. But obviously, yeah, Monday, Crawley, it's a massive win, and it is a must-win now. I thought this was a must-win, so the fact that we dropped points definitely makes Crawley on Monday a must-win. Another comment as well, missed the game, just got in from work. I'll take the draw, though. Well, I mean, I was going to say you didn't miss much, but I think you did, in a lot of ways, because how bad we started the game, I think would be a warning sign in some ways of that you can play that badly when you're trying to fight for the title. But then the second half, how we managed to recover it so quickly, we looked like 2 different sides from that first half to that second half. So yeah, I think a draw in the end is probably the fair result, but I felt like we needed to win. But if you're saying you'll take the draw, then fair enough. But I think if we take the draw today, which we have done, I think it's massively important that we win the rest of our games. And like Stuart said there, it means that Monday's a must-win. So disappointing that we couldn't grab all 3 points, but look, I suppose in the end we have to take a point. It's better than a loss. But it does mean now that we've got to win that game on Monday night. And then, of course, we've got MK Dons as well coming up next Saturday as well. So we've got some big games coming up as well. And obviously, the Morecambe and Wimbledon tickets are on sale as well, and general sale tomorrow morning as well. So it'll be interesting to see how many we can get down to, for the games in the sort of running, the title running. Obviously, the last few home games of the season, we've got 3 or 4 home games left in the season, not long to go now. And it'll be interesting to see where we are maybe this time next week after we play Crawley, going into the MK Dons game. Mansfield are going to run away with it with League 2 if we were playing like this. I mean, I understand that, and I think that Mansfield have been solid throughout the season. I think that's why they're looking. I think that's why they're looking so solid, and I think that's why when we're putting in the level of performances that we are, I think it's easy to say that Mansfield will run away with it, and there is a feeling that could happen. But I just think County, with the players who got coming back from injury, the form that we were in when we had them players available, I think we've run away with it in the end. Not run away with it in the end, but I think we get over the line in the end, and I think we do win League 2. But I don't know if that's hope. Obviously, we've got 2 more comments as well. Top 3 final predictions. I'll get to that in a second. Agreed, Stuart. Monday's a must win, but at least it's still in our hands. It is still in our hands because we've got a game in hand and we're only 2 points off Mansfield, so it is in our hands. But we know how strong Mansfield are, and I think that's the worry. And I think with the fact that our players still aren't back from injury and we're still not really finding that rhythm that we had maybe when we had all our best players available, I think that would be the worry. But as for top 3 final predictions, I think second and first, it's between Mansfield and Stockport, and I'm gonna go with heart over head. I'm gonna say Stockport County finish top of the table. Then I'm gonna say Mansfield finish second, and then I think it'll probably be Wrexham third. But obviously, Crew could get into that as well. We don't know what's going to happen at the moment. It's all over the place. MK Dons could still get into the automatics as well, amongst others. I mean, it's just mental. And I think Carl Robinson said it before the game. League Two is so unpredictable, and I think it took him by surprise. And I think it's really, really difficult at the moment to predict. But as I say, I'll go with Stockport, Mansfield, Wrexham as the top three. Let me know yours in the comments below as well. Got a few coming in now. Actually, I'm not used to this. True, but on tonight's showing, you can forget top spot. The promotion is the target. Look, I know what you're saying, and there's been a few times recently where we come out the ground saying if we're playing like that, there's no way that we're going to win the title. But I just got to believe that when we get our best players available, we can go and win the title, and hopefully that'll be the case. I think the fact that Louis Barry is not going to be back as quickly as I thought he would. I thought he'd be back by about mid-March. I thought he'd be back around now, and it's just not the case. So I think that's a massive disappointment. We've got a few more as well coming in as well. Watch Wrexham pip us to third on the final day. I mean, I think that's going to be a massive game. I think at one point in the season, it felt like that game was going to be bigged up as the title decider, and then it almost felt a little bit like at another point in the season where that game would be a formality come the end of the season because of the form Stockport County were in. It almost looked like we'd have the title sealed up by then. But I think at the moment, I think that could be a massive game come the end of the season. Hopefully we have it wrapped up before then. But as I say, not too many games left, it's going to be difficult. Look, I mean, I think this is what it's all about, though, football, isn't it? It's exciting, it's nervy. We don't know what's going to happen. In some ways, I'd rather that than us have the title sealed up with like 4 games to go. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be nervy. And if we do somehow win League Two now, think about how much more worth it's going to be to sit through all this and that not knowing whether or not we're going to win the title or not. It's going to feel so much better if we do go and win the title. Likewise, it's going to feel so much worse if we don't get promotion. So it's one of them, isn't it? It's a bit like when we were at Wembley last season. It's one of them where it's a full day trip. You go and everything, and it's absolutely fantastic if you win. I mean, the mood at Wembley on the way to Wembley last season was brilliant. The mood on the way back was terrible. We've got a super chat coming in. This is the first one I've ever had. Screw it. Fair enough. I need to probably read the rest back to understand the context of that. But as I say, I'll just go for a minute. There was no radio commentary anywhere. I couldn't listen to it in work. I hate to say it, but I can see us ending up in 4th. I don't think we'll go as low as 4th, but I understand the fear of that because teams below us are catching up with us, and we're not putting in the best of results at the moment. I think it's fair to say. Watch Wrexham. I've already read that one. If we finish in the playoffs, then Charlie has to go. It would be an embarrassment to be top of the league, to finish 4th, and then lose it in the playoffs. Look, I agree with that. I think I said this probably a few weeks ago now in one of my videos. I think I sort of said, if we weren't to be promoted this season now, what would that mean for Dave Challoner's position? And that's me. And no way am I trying to say that Challoner should be sacked, but I think that he would look at it and go, how have we not got this group of players promoted? I think the club would look at it and go, well, how haven't you managed to get promotion? Given that the second season of being in League Two, and I think it could probably be a bit of an issue for all parties if we're not promoted, because given how close you were last season's getting into the automatics in the first place, I think that to then be top of the table, as you say, for as long as we have been, 4.5, 5 months or something, then to fall out from that and then even fall past the automatic spots, I think it would be unacceptable. I know we've had injury issues and things like that, but I think really there's still no excuses. That team we put out today, that's still strong enough to beat Salford with the form they're in. And I said it pre-match. I said I'm not a massive fan of the team we put out, but it should be strong enough to beat that Salford side. The one thing about Challoner that holds me back with him managing us in the league is his stubbornness with sticking to the same one game plan. I agree with that as well. I think that we are heavily reliant on one game plan. I think there was a period in the season where we changed it up and we went away from that 3 at the back, and I think we're playing 4-3-3 a bit more, and we were looking a lot more good on the attack, and obviously that was that sort of good purple patch that we were on with Louis Barry and Tanto Alafi and players like that scoring goals for fun, and we just looked absolutely brilliant. Whether or not that was really patient possession moves or really good moves on the on the transition, we looked unstoppable, and I think we've lost our rhythm since we lost them key players. And to be honest, ever since we lost that winning streak against Newport, I think we haven't been the same team since. I think the top three now is the final three, but third for us is likely, but that is still going up. We were there at Wembley in the 90s, and despite losing them all, it was amazing. I think that's the thing with football. I think you've got to remember it's about memories as well at the same time, isn't it? And we've had some brilliant memories. Some have been following County for longer than I have, but I've had some brilliant memories. I mean, I think back just to Salford last season, second leg, we get it back to 2-2 and aggregate, and we win on penalties. Absolutely fantastic. You can't forget them memories, and it was brilliant going to Wembley as well last season as well, albeit the result was negative. It was the first time I've been to Wembley, and apart from the result, I thoroughly enjoyed that experience. So, as I say, this is my 45th season. Well, fair play to you, fair play to you. The difference between the 90s and now is the investment. That's key. Yeah, I agree with that. I think we've had a lot of investment. And look, Salford have had a lot of investment, and we saw, obviously today, the form they're in this season hasn't been good enough for the investment and the money that's been put in over the last sort of 10 years. And you look at the decline this season, I think it's one of the worst seasons they've had since the takeover of the class of '92. I think it's only the second year that they've had a league position lower than the previous season. I think each year they'd progressed, and then maybe one season I think they finished 8th and then went to 10th the following season. And then last season I think they finished 7th, and we've dropped. Obviously they've gone down to 20th or 21st where they are at the moment. Stadium expansion thoughts. I've been meaning to talk about this actually. I'm going to cut it short soon because I've been waffling on for a while, and I don't think people want to listen to me talk about County all night. But stadium expansion thoughts. So I've been meaning to do a video on it, but I did the video on the 2 new players we brought in instead, and then obviously did a match preview yesterday. So I've not had loads of time to talk about it, but I've not even read loads about it. But I think it's interesting. Somehow expand it potentially to 18,000, I think, at some point. And obviously the biggest thing is putting the roof on over the railway end, which I've sat in the railway end. I think I'd miss almost in a lot of ways. I think I'd miss having not having the roof over it. But as I say, I think it's impressive. I think obviously a lot of money's going to have to be put into it. Obviously, if they are planning on putting that level of money into it that it would cost, I think that says that this ownership's here to stay for a long time, because there is a feeling of once they get to League One, how much longer are they going to be able to invest in the football club? Do they have the finances to continue to push the club as we go up the football leagues? And I think that's the question. And I think if they're committed to putting money into the new stadium, not a new stadium, but stadium expansion, and then I think that says that they're here to stay and they're confident that they can back County as they go up the football leagues. And I think that's going to be key. Obviously, it's been a whirlwind few years, and I think that if they're going to put money into the stadium once again, I think that just shows the commitment that they've got to the club. And as I say, this draw at the moment 2-2. We're worrying about whether or not we're going to win the title or not. I think that says just how much County have come on over the last 4 or 5 years, because there was a period of time where we were out of the Football League, not even in the National League, and it wasn't looking great for us. And I think that obviously we got promoted from the National League North in 2019. Then we had that period in National League, and then that takeover in 2020. I think that takeover has been pivotal to us being where we are now. So I think the fact that we're almost like, are we going to get promoted this season? Are we going to win the title this season? I think it just shows how far the club's come on, and the fact that we're worried that we might not be, in League One next season. Regardless, we're still going to be in League Two next season, and I think that's a massive thing. I think some fans have been, as I say, someone there been following the club for 45, 46 seasons. I mean, arguing about whether or not we go up as title winners or not probably seems very, very far down the list of worries, considering what they would have had to put up with in the National League North and things like that. But as I say, we're going to cut it short here. We're just going to finish off with some comments. Putting a roof over the railway end will not just make away fans louder, providing we keep them in there. It was horrible at Accrington. I remember Accrington. Yeah, obviously I was there with you. Thing is, we didn't go up there, then the empty seats will outnumber the fans. Yeah, we wouldn't have come out the other side of lockdown without Scott's takeover. I agree with that as well. I think that was a massive, the timing of it was key as well. And as I say, I'm going to cut it short there, but hopefully people have enjoyed it. I remember attendances below 1,000. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy to think now, isn't it? Because we consistently get anywhere between 8 to 10,000, so it's ridiculous. But as I say, I'm going to cut it short here because I've been waffling on for a while, but obviously, I hope, if I get my words, I hope that people have enjoyed this. It's not something I'm used to doing. I'm not used to going live on the channel, but hopefully people have enjoyed it. And like I say, if you're new to the channel, do subscribe if you're not already. And yeah, as I say, hopefully people have enjoyed it. And if it's something that people have enjoyed, it's something I'll probably try and do more often. Obviously, we've got MK Dons on Sky in a week on Saturday. It's probably something I'll look to do again. So hopefully people have enjoyed it. As I say, subscribe, don't forget to like the video. I've appreciated the comments that have come in as well. It's been brilliant. Obviously, the super chat as well. I appreciate it all. So as I say, thanks for the support on the channel. Live Q&A next. I could do it with the comments we've had in. I was expecting maybe one comment. This has been really interactive, and as I say, it's not something I'm used to. Yes, it's been interesting. Please do more of this. Yeah, well, I'm excited. I'm excited to do more of it, given the response we've had. I was expecting, genuinely, because I was expecting about maybe one comment, and I thought it was going to be really awkward. And instead, I've had loads of comments, and it's still been really awkward for me because I'm not used to it. But as I say, yeah, I appreciate all the comments. I appreciate the people who've supported this stream, and hopefully continue to support the channel by staying subscribed, and obviously trying to keep up watching the videos, the vlogs we put out, and things like that. My next game's Forest Green away, so I'm looking forward to that. And obviously the vlog will be out on that, but I'm sure we'll go live, and I'm sure there'll be lots of topics to talk about between now and then. But as I say, hopefully people have enjoyed this stream. It's a disappointing result today, but it's not the worst result for us. And as I say, Crawley on Monday night, which is a big one now. So hopefully people have enjoyed it. As I say, like the video. Thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll see you guys in the next one.